Hi everyone, Kristina here. Welcome to another Color Wednesday video. I have to apologize before we get into the card here for uploading this video a day late. I've just been running behind all week long. I'm sure you guys have had weeks like that where you're just playing catch up every single day of the week. So here we go. Here's the card for Color Wednesday, even though it is Thursday when I'm uploading this. The stamps that I'm using today is from Mama Elephant. It's called Bear Hugs. You guys saw a sneak peek of these stamps last Friday in my video when I was showing you these watercolor pens that I'm going to be using today. I picked these up from jetpens.com and they're really fun watercolor pens. I'm going to be using a Pentel Deluxe water brush today. Actually, I think it's Faber-Castell, actually. And I'm first painting on the color with the pen, with the brush pen, or it seems like painting on because it's got that brush tip. And then I'm adding water. And the thing that I really love about these pens, and I mentioned it in last week's video, I love how vibrant they stay no matter how much water you add. I love that wherever you place that initial color, it stays dark and provides a lot of contrast. And then as you add water, you can really fade out that color really evenly. I really love that as I paint in circles here, it gives a really even gradient of color. And the areas where it doesn't have a good gradient, or it's a little bit too harsh of a line, while the watercolor paper is wet, you can go back over it with that same color of marker, or you can even add a different color marker, and you can add in more color. So you can see how as I add that color in, the ink starts to wick away. That's because the watercolor paper is still wet as I apply this color. I've tried to do that with distress markers in the past, and the distress markers actually tend to soak up the water from the paper instead of releasing color. So in that way, these are also different from distress markers because you can add the color wet on wet straight from the marker. I think it's a really fun technique, and it's a really easy way to get this color moving. So you guys have heard me say in the past that I really don't prefer using a water brush. I like to use a watercolor brush, a traditional brush, and pick up the color or the water with the brush tip and then transfer it to my project. For some reason today, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try using just a water brush. I didn't have any water out on my desk at the moment, but I did have my water brush. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for convenience sake. And I think that's where your brush pens like this really shine, is in the convenience factor. If you don't have water nearby, or if you're traveling, these water brushes are fantastic, especially for using like distress markers or these watercolor pens. You know, these travel fabulously. I think it would be great to just put in your travel bag when you're out and about. So I colored the first bear, and then I colored the second one in a very similar fashion, just adding a little bit of that brown color in the darkest areas, and then fading it out with the water brush. So now I'm taking the black pen and I'm adding quite a bit of color down beneath the bears. I'm going to create a horizon line right there, so it's very dark on the bottom. That's where I'm going to place the sentiment for the card. And then I'm planning to add some blue color above so it looks a little bit like sky. So I started to work the color out, and the black doesn't spread quite as easily. So I did end up bringing that brush pen back in and adding more color. I really wanted to add quite a bit of color so I could get it moving down to the bottom of that watercolor paper. So I added more of that black color and then really started kind of swishing this water brush back and forth, trying to get that color moving. And eventually it did start moving. I had to squeeze the brush a little bit and get a little more water out there, but it did start to spread out. Added some more black pen, and then came back in with my water brush and really filled in all of those gaps. And I really wanted to get that fading all the way down to the bottom. The thing that I like about these watercolor pens is that they're kind of forgiving, and that you can add more and more color on top and really fade those areas out. So now I'm using this light blue color, and as I added it here onto this, and then I added water, I noticed it really wasn't moving at all. So after I had the area pretty saturated with water, I came back in with that pen once more, and then it started getting everything moving. I think that's what you kind of have to remember with these watercolor pens, is that you will get a better blend and a better movement of color if you get the paper wet first. Not completely saturated, but just a little bit wet so that that ink can really get moving. So I dried that, and then I added this more of this kind of teal color, or it's just a blue-green color on top. I wanted to have a little bit more of a greenish tinge to the darkest areas of this background. So I started adding that in and kind of spreading that out as much as I could and making sure to add more color as I moved along so that it got everything moving. Sorry about that. I just got a text message. We'll just put that phone on silent. Anyway, so I'm adding more of that blue-green color in all of those areas. And I also added a little bit up right there by his ears so that you get that going. Or rather, I should say her ears, because I'm planning to give this to my mom, and the greeting that goes on this card is really, really cute, and you'll see that in a minute. So I heat set that with my heat tool. It doesn't really need heat setting, but it does need to dry, and I just was impatient, so I ended up helping it dry. So I'm peeling off that masking paper, or the masking tape, and then I have my watercolor piece here. I'm going to be stamping the greeting below the bears, so I added some EK Success powder tool to eliminate static cling. So you can see the powder on the project right now, or on the watercolor piece now, but once I've embossed, I'll be able to wipe it off and it'll get rid of all that powder. So I stamped the greeting, and then I coated it in some Hero Arts white embossing powder, and then I melted that with my heat tool. And the greeting says, "Thank you for being my mama bear." I thought it was just so, so cute. I know it's a little early for Mother's Day cards for those of us in the United States, but if you were looking for a great stamp set for Mother's Day or Father's Day, the greetings on this stamp set are fantastic, and they're so heartfelt, and Mama Elephant, they just really know how to add some really awesome greetings. So I'm going to be using this metallic silver embossing paste from Dreamweaver. It's so cool. This is the first time using it, and it just looked fantastic coming out straight out of the jar. And the color you see spreading out right now is the color that it will dry to. And I wanted to have a really smooth finish, so I added quite a bit of this embossing paste. And then I eventually pulled off that stencil, and you can see it revealed on my card base here. My card base, the finished card size is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, so then I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see this embossing paste. It's really, really neat. It gives an awesome metallic shine. You could also have added Versamark through the stencil and then put silver embossing powder on top, but you'd get a slightly different look. So I let that dry overnight, actually, but I think it probably would have been drying about 30 minutes maybe. And then I adhered that watercolor piece on top using some foam adhesive. I punched the top corners of the card using my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. And then I took a Uniball Signal Broad white pen and added some dash lines around the outside edge. I haven't done dash lines in quite a while, and so when I had the first thought to do that, I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I haven't done dash lines in a long time. I added a little white heart on some foam adhesive up near the top of the card. That heart was cut out using the Simon Says Stamp mini heart dies. And then I kind of painted it red with a red marker and then put some Christmas red Stickles glitter glue on top. So that's the card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for this week's Friday Focus video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Once again, thanks for watching today's video. All of the supplies that I used on today's card are listed down below in the video description with links to online stores where you can purchase them if you'd want to create a similar card. On screen right now are 3 more videos for you to check out. That first one shows that set of watercolor pens that I used in today's video. So if you want to see me kind of experimenting with those and my first initial thoughts on that, go ahead and click on that video. The other 2 videos on screen are just some of my recent videos where I did some watercoloring or used watercolor medium. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in my next video.